Waiting all day to talk about this, and it's finally here. So let's get right into it because I don't want to waste any time, right? Now but I do want to say just a couple of quick things about just setting this up for you real quickly. One, remember what I told you in the last few weeks. There's no such thing as a democratic solution, right? There's just no such thing as the ability to have the perfect plan, because a democratic solution doesn't exist. No matter what we do, some people aren't going to be ready, some are. And so every pastor I'm talking to is facing the same thing, and we're all trying to just do the best we can with what we've got. Now, I don't want to belabor a point, but I also realize that there are some of you that maybe have missed a few Sundays, or maybe we just can't assume you've heard us say this. And so in the exercising of just wisdom, I think it's important for me to cover something. So if you've already heard this, please just hold on. I won't take long. But I want to reiterate, in case you've missed it, or in case you've been a little confused. And believe me, there's been a lot of information to be confused over. I've certainly been that way. Remember that what's coming out of the governor's office is what we just call suggested guidelines. There's no law that exists that can govern any element of ClearView's decision to worship. And if you happen to tune into my sermon this past Sunday about the role of government in the Christian life, I quoted the governor's office in an excerpt from what they recently put out about out of the faith-based community office and initiatives, or the Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives. And here's that statement. I want you to read it real quick. Governor's office says, "Not all suggestions will be appropriate for each faith community. These suggestions are included as a courtesy for your convenience. These suggestions are not and should not be construed as mandates or requirements by the state of Tennessee, the Governor's Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives, or any other entity of federal, state, or local government." So that's just a great way of saying that it's really up to you. And so when I've been talking with a lot of pastors in the last 3 or 4 weeks, almost every pastor I've talked to, their church is either going back up roughly this Sunday all the way to early June. So that's kind of a good window. Everybody's seeming to, but people are doing it all different ways, and because their campuses kind of dictate that. And so we want to keep telling you to use your own judgment. Now, I want to slow down here for a second, and I just want to tell you something, and I really want you to hear my heart on this, okay? It is really important that you use your own judgment. Some of you may not be ready to come back for months, and that is honestly okay, especially if you have a pre-existing health condition, or if you are an active adult. If you're someone over 60, 65, you need to understand you're not letting God down, and you're not letting us down. We want you to be around. And so you just need to take your own time, and you need to come back when you're comfortable. And that matters to us. And so, and as far as that also goes, when it comes to using your own judgment, when we do come back, you know what? If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. If you want to shake somebody's hand, shake somebody's hand. But also don't be hurt if somebody's like, I'm not ready yet. Listen, this whole thing's been crazy. None of us have been ready for this, and so we just want to ask everybody to really use their own judgment and just roll with it. And we're going to be fine. But it is time to get life back to normal. So here we go. I just can't think of a better Sunday than Pentecost Sunday, May 31st. That's when we're going back. We're going to come back to our campus, and it's going to be a glorious day. I mean, man, kicking things back off on the recognition of Pentecost, that's pretty sweet. So I'm excited about that. So as we look at May 31st, we're going to be online until that time, okay? And also, just want to say to you, we're going to run that through June, and we'll keep you updated as to kind of how things are playing out for July. But from May 31st to the end of June, we're going to use the format that I'm about to show to you, okay? And by the way, this is going to be online. This video, this stream is going to be a video. It's going to be also online after this, so you can go back and reference it. There's also going to be a PDF that we're going to have online that you can download, kind of the mapping of how some of the specifics that I'm not covering right now, but it's up to you. So one thing I do want to say to you is, no matter what, live stream. We're going with live stream, man, and we're going to continue that. So you're not going to miss anything. So if you're not ready, don't worry about it. Watch it live stream. In fact, I'd ask you to watch it and share it on your Instagram or your Facebook or your Twitter or your email to a friend. So live stream is going to keep on rocking just like it has right now. So let's look at our structure for May 31, because I know some of you are going to wonder about that. Our May 31st structure, we're going to have 2 worship services, one at 9 and one at 11. They're going to be identical, and we're going to have a family worship format. So that's going to be roughly a 1 hour time with a 1 hour gap in between. So 9 to 10, and then it will come back at 11. That allows us to get traffic in and out of the campus and in and out of the hallways in a good manner. And so let's talk about what family worship means. So what that really means is we're not going to have childcare. We're not going to have kids events like kids worship and stuff like that on as we normally would on Sunday. And there's going to be no groups. So it's pretty much bring your family to worship if you want to. That's kind of the simple idea. Now let me tell you one of the really neat things about our campus. You know, every pastor I know, there's things they just can't stand about their campus, and there's things that they're very thankful for with their campus. And our campus has both its problems and it has its advantages. And our campus has been our physical plant. Every physical plant has limitations, and ours has that too. But boy, in the world of COVID, one of the driving factors that allowed us to open our minds up to coming back at the end of May was because we have a lot of big venue spaces. So I want to show you a graphic right now, and obviously this is by no means to scale, but if you look in the top right center, we're going to film we're going to do a live worship in the worship center, and then we're going to use the station, kids worship, the basement, and the chapel as basically overflow rooms. That's not really but it's kind of more closer to anything. That's kind of what it is. So we're gonna film it in that room live with whoever's in that room, and then we're gonna pipe it out just like we would to the chapel or any other thing. So let me tell you how this is going to. Let me give you a couple of pictures of what to expect when you get here, okay? When you actually come on campus that day, one of the things you're going to see is our greeters. They're going to have the doors open for you, so you don't have to like reach for that, and you know they're just going to be there already having that done. There's going to have hand sanitizer stations, you know, until we run out. They're going to be there, and so we hope we're trying to keep stock on that. This stuff's been hard to find, but we've got some right now. And so that's just know that we're going to have stations, and the doors are going to be open no matter what. So I also want to show you our seating. Let me go to I think there's another image after this one. Let's go to the seats. There we go. So what we're going to do, this is just one example. Here in the worship center, notice that seats are 5 to 6 at a time. So it allows your family to sit together, but they're well spaced out so that certainly our room is nowhere near capacity. It's actually well under half capacity. But because we have so many large venue spaces at ClearView, it really did make our facility conducive to opening up when we do. So let me show you another example. So if you go down to the basement, one of the things we're doing for parents with kids, like small children, we're going to set up tables so that your family can sit around the table. They can bring coloring books, or they can bring something to help them get through, that hour. And so we're going to give you kind of a map of how that works and kind of what rooms you need to go to if you have little kids. So it's really making it parent friendly and in that regard. So I'm excited about that. So let me show you one other graphic to kind of give you a visual mindset of kind of how this is going to play out. So if you look at the worship center, again, think of Overflow. So just imagine that in the worship center, we have a live crowd, and once that seating capacity is full, then obviously then that room will be at capacity of whatever seats are available, and then we're going to pipe out the worship to the station, to the kids' worship area, to the basement, to the chapel. And even if we had to, we could use the preschool worship area. But those are the 5 primary worship areas. And then we will have a dismissal process that keeps you from doing our best to keep you from having to cram up in the hallways. And so I know I've thrown a lot of information at you there, but you can go back and watch this video and kind of get a feel for it. There is going to be a PDF sent out in email and on our COVID page of our clearview.org website, so you can go there and get the same thing if you want to download that PDF or look at it. So the last thing I want to say to you is actually really important, and this is a big deal. So I'm almost done, so I really want you to hear this. We're also going to do something that evening that our staff was excited about, and we think it is a way to launch that weekend. We're going to have intercession from 5 to 7 p.m. that night, a prayer walk. But it's not just walking for the sake of walking. We're going to intercede, and we're going to ask the Lord to use our church to impact this community. We're going to ask Him to open the windows of heaven. We're going to have prayer stations around this campus. You won't be coming inside. You will not be coming inside. It'll be all outside. And there'll be prayer stations. So you could come at 5:30, you could come at 6:30, you can come whenever you want. But it's going to be during a window of time between 5 and 7. And so you can basically do a walk tour, and those stations will have prayer assignments, and people will be there to gather. And let me tell you why this is a big deal. It's a big deal because you're going to continue to hear, as a staff, us talk about what God has put on our heart with Give Us Franklin. It's a prayer we're asking God, give us our town, give us our city. And so we're going to start that process that very weekend. We want the Lord to open up His Spirit, open up His power, and have an open heaven pouring down into our church in whatever way He sees fit. Let me tell you something, friends. We got to ask for that. We got to ask for it. So this is our way of being on the offensive. This is our way of being on attack, where we're going. We're not just playing defense. So I hope this helps you. I can't wait to see some of you May 31st on Pentecost Sunday. How cool is that?